All right. So today I saw probably two of not probably I think two of the greatest living classical guitars. Probably, really, to be honest with you, two of the uh, best uh, guitars. Period. I saw Elliot Fisk and Sharon Isbin. So Sharon Isbin and Elliot Fisk were at the River School in Weston, Massachusetts, and I happen to live in Needham. And so Sharon Itzman gave a master class, and then Elliot Fisk gave a performance, and it was one of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen because specifically with Sharon Itzman's master class, you kind of see the transformation of somebody who's like really a master of the guitar. And I obviously love classical guitars, and I'm not a classical guitarist, I'm a jazz guitarist. But the beauty of the classical guitar or the acoustic guitar in general is that you can't really hide. Um, Anything you play comes out. There's no pedals, there's nothing. It's just your fingers and this thing, depending upon the level of your instrument. And I've always believed that you can give a crappy instrument to a great player and it's going to sound good. But in any event, though, Sharon Ispin's part, there's about six students. Three of them were a little bit younger in high school. All of them excellent, excellent guitars. And three of them were a little bit older. They were international students from Mexico. And it was just terrific. The pieces were really good. The most astounding thing that I saw about this was that you would think that in a master class, I haven't gone to a lot of classical guitar master classes, that they would play something that the person that would be the master or the maestro, in this case, Sharon Isbin, would be critiquing, would be something that was very familiar. It was not necessarily the case. Um, you know, there was a Villa Lobos piece, one guy, a great Mexican guitarist, his name escapes me, bought a piece with him that he played that was from one of his teachers. And the most phenomenal thing that I saw was that this was the first time supposedly that Sharon Itzbin was like seeing this music, and she was able to guide him into better ways of playing the piece, and that's crazy. I mean, she was basically, she sight read the thing and basically just gave him some really good concrete examples of how to improve the music. And so my biggest takeaway from that, and then I'll talk a little bit about Elliot Fisk's performance. My biggest takeaway from that is that the right hand, if you're playing classical guitar or any fingerstyle stuff, I think even pick style guitar, I call this your money hand, man. It just kind of defines who you are. Um, I'd say 90% of the things that she worked with was right hand technique, and everything from rest stroke to free stroke. But a lot of the thing was about, I think I call it musicality. It was the color of the tone and really having a shape to the sound. That a lot of the players were really good in terms of technique and they could play like this, but they couldn't play like this. And when we talk, and music is like our speech, we don't talk like, hello, my name is Wyatt, blah, 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 blah. We talk with a certain cadence and a certain fervor. If we're angry, it sounds a certain way. If we're happy, it sounds a certain way. And I think what she tried to do was kind of shape the music in a lot of her comments and things of that nature. But man, I just like realized how little I know when I like in that kind of a surrounding. And classical guitar is just, it's hard. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not a classical guitarist. I keep saying this over and over and over. I'm a jazz guy, and I'm just still kind of like learning the instrument every day is learning it. So, right hand, like I said, the biggest takeaway was like the right hand, the rest stroke with the free stroke. And it wasn't just moving from here to here. A lot of the comments that the players actually had to do with like, oh, should I move it to here from there? No, it was really rest stroke versus free stroke. And, you know, it just, you could see the pieces evolve and the amount of respect that the students had for her was just like tremendous. So that was the first half of it. So this was like a guitar-thon day for me from that perspective. The second part was I saw Elliot Fisk play, and man, that was just something else. Um, what can I say? There's nothing that I can say about that. He is a phenomenal player. And the one thing I like about Elliot Fisk is that there's nothing I can say. I'm just an internet nerd that just plays the guitar and the whole 9 yards. The one thing I can say about Elliot Fisk is that this man holds nothing back. I mean, he starts off with passion and finishes with passion. It was one of the most beautiful performances that I've ever seen. And man, he just he's a master of the guitar. So Sharon Isbin and the man himself, Elliot Fisk. And so it was a great performance. So anyway, I'm going to end this with none of these two, but me playing, and they're just a great inspiration.